Here's Brody Brazil.
I'm somebody who lives on the complete opposite coast of this country, and even I'm disappointed by this news and today's development that the Tampa Bay Rays are officially calling off the stadium deal, the one that they proposed less than a year ago. May of 2024, renderings came out. This was all moving forward. It got voted on. The city, the county, they approved funding, and now the Rays are backing out. I say I'm disappointed. I want to make clear I'm not surprised. You could kind of see this coming in recent weeks and months as I've covered this here all on the YouTube channel. It didn't seem like the Rays were ever going to move forward with this, but now they're officially out. And it's disappointing because it offers no security. It offers no conclusion. It offers no stability for the future of this franchise for fans in St. Petersburg and the Tampa Bay region. I say that because maybe they go to Orlando. Maybe they go somewhere else. Nothing is certain right now. If they had just nailed down this stadium deal, it would have offered something, a path forward, an idea for the future, something certain and concrete. And now instead, we're kind of just back to basics again that they've called this deal off. Again, not surprising, but definitely disappointing. Here's the statement from the owner, Stuart Sternberg, and I'll get to the commissioner's comments or a comment from baseball on behalf of the commissioner in just a second. Opening day is right around the corner, and we are eager and prepared for what promises to be an exciting and fun season of baseball. Yeah, just get right to it. Come on. Thanks to our dedicated staff and players, our fans will experience the game in one of the most intimate settings in modern baseball history. Let's call it what it is, a minor league ballpark. You're playing in the Yankees spring training complex and their single-A affiliate team stadium this entire summer. We'll see how that plays out. Intimate is one word for it, but there are a few others. As we all recover from impacts of the hurricanes, we are incredibly grateful for the support from our fans and the wider Tampa Bay community. We are especially appreciative of how our corporate partners have stepped up during this challenging time for our organization. After careful deliberation, we have concluded we cannot move forward with the new ballpark and development project at this moment. A series of events beginning in October that no one could have anticipated led to this difficult decision. Our commitment to the vitality and success of the Rays organization is unwavering. We continue to focus on finding a ballpark solution that serves the best interests of our region, Major League Baseball, and our organization. The city of St. Petersburg is currently advancing plans to restore Tropicana Field for the 2026 season. We are thankful for their efforts and are excited to return to our home field next spring. Stuart Sternberg, Tampa Bay Rays principal owner. From Major League Baseball, I said before the commissioner, but this is actually a baseball statement on behalf of the commissioner. Quote, Major League Baseball remains committed to finding a permanent home for the club in the Tampa Bay region. Not St. Petersburg, the Tampa Bay region for their fans and the local community. Commissioner Manfred understands the disappointment of the St. Petersburg community from today's announcement, but he will continue to work with elected officials, community leaders, and Rays officials to secure the club's future in the Tampa Bay region. Twice the phrase Tampa Bay region was used. The promise of Commissioner Manfred's commitment to elected officials, community leaders, and the fact that he'll get together with them. He'll try and help make this happen. It's interesting. Again, I take it back to a most recent experience out here in California and with Oakland, and there did not seem to be that same face-to-face contact between the commissioner and any politicians, but baseball is committing the commissioner to local politicians to try and move this forward. So here's what the rest of the video is going to be. All takeaways. Normally I put them all on one screen. I have no way possible to do that all on one screen. It's going to be page by page here of takeaways. So we'll begin with this. I would have rather have seen and heard that statement with my own eyes and ears from Stuart Sternberg. I know everybody likes to put together a written statement, put it on social media, put it on a couple images, and call it a day. For something this big, for something this monumental, and they spent, hundreds of thousands of dollars in renderings and legal stuff and getting construction companies on board. They had a contractor they were already going to work with. Like, imagine the time and effort and money and human power it took to move all of this forward, the votes and meetings and all of that stuff. And now in the end, it's just like a paragraph that describes, hey, we're out. See ya. I personally, and maybe this is just me, somebody from the visual broadcast medium, I would have rather, and it didn't even have to be a press conference, just do an on-camera statement. Do a video like I'm doing right now And just read what you wrote right there. I would have loved to have seen and heard it face-to-face virtually on a screen. Again, I don't think there needed to be a press conference on this, but I just think a paragraph or two buried in a bunch of other things talking about, oh, baseball is fun and hurricanes are bad. And oh yeah, by the way, we're out on the stadium deal. I wanted there to be more than a sentence in a paragraph just on that. But maybe that's my preference. The politicians of St. Petersburg as a city in Pinellas County, they successfully called the bluff of the Rays. And that's what those two votes were. They didn't vote in October. They didn't vote in November. Finally, the Rays kind of said, hey, you got to vote on this before the elected officials change in January. And fine, the city and the county said, fine, we'll vote on this. We don't think you're in anymore. Remember when the team said that this is going to cost us more. We're not sure if we're in or we're out anymore. And then the city and county said, fine, we'll vote you in. Come on in. We'll vote yes on this. And a lot of people said it was the politicians calling the team's bluff. And if that's what happened here, like, honestly, it'll never be stated that way as such, but if that's what happened here, then that's pretty straightforward what happened here. Is Tropicana Field, by the way, actually guaranteed to be, number one, fixed in time, and number two, at about $60 million? They estimated it several months ago. It was going to take a lot longer than you expected and a lot more than you expected, to the tune of like 10 or 11 months. And $60 million to repair that stadium from the damage of Hurricane Milton. Well, here we are, like about 12 months away from the 2026 season starting. So this needs to be decided on rather quick. It was my understanding that the end of March was kind of the deadline. If they wanted to get this done, this fixed at Tropicana Field, they needed the money. They also needed the okays and approvals by the end of this month. Stuart Sternberg's comment there made it seem like, oh, St. Pete is going to take care of this. They're already working on it. Well, do you know this is going to be done? And if Tropicana Field can't be done or won't be done, we'll get to who's paying for it in just a second. You got to come up with $60 million somewhere. This is only for what, maybe 2-3 more years until the lease expires, which now goes through, I think, 2029. But it's all there's no certainty to this. This is still a question. This is not even a guarantee. So when the Rays say, well, we're going to go back to Tropicana Field, that might just be the statement for here and now. Maybe there's a search for other temporary solutions. Maybe Steinbrenner Field in Tampa is only truly a one-year thing, like we've kind of heard whispers about. The Yankees were good for this for one season, 2025, but after this, who knows if they'll offer up the $15 million lease like they're doing this year. Maybe the Rays play a temporary season over in Orlando at the Disney complex, and then that's the bridge to leaving and moving to Orlando. And again, I'm only mentioning this as a possibility, not as something I'm rooting for. But again, $60 million, is that even guaranteed to be paid for and done? And by the way, public dollars to fix what is a totaled car, like a totaled stadium, for maybe 3 more years of use? Do you think that's going to go over well with the general public who just went through multiple hurricanes and is probably going to go through, and I say this with no pleasure, probably more natural disasters in the next 3 years? Do you think this is going to go over well, that the public is going to pay all this money? Remember, this was supposed to be largely covered by insurance. Local politicians recently changed the insurance plan on Tropicana Field. It would have paid out $60 million, would have been covered. Now it's not. Now a majority of that money, a large portion, if not most all of it, has to be covered by the city of St. Petersburg. It's in their contract. It's in the deal that they signed with the team all those years ago. So unfortunately, that's never going to look good on the city, on the politicians, on the team who's like making this happen and saying, well, you know what, instead of building our own stadium and we'll figure this out, it's on you to take care of us. Yeah, it's under contract, but we're going to kind of kick you while you're down. It does not seem like it's going to go over well. Does the city of St. Pete ever do another deal for any Rays ownership, but especially this ownership group? If Stuart Sternberg does not sell the team and he does ever want to move forward with, hey, we want to come back, we've got a new stadium idea, we've got a project, how is the city of St. Petersburg ever supposed to go back and work with this ownership group on anything ever again? They worked so hard to bring something to the table and bring it to a resolution, and then the team backed out. Do you think the city or even the county are going to ever be eager again to work with, and I say the team, new ownership is a different face, right? It's different people. So maybe they would be with the team. But with this ownership group, it kind of closes the door, it feels like, forever on anything new in St. Pete with this team. Not Tampa, I want to be clear. The door, I think, just got way wide open for Tampa and Orlando. More on that in just a second. But for St. Petersburg, it feels like, hey, maybe they won't fix up the Trop, but anything else new doesn't seem like it's going to be an option. How about the pressure that the Rays were getting to sell? The pressure from Commissioner Rob Manfred. Well, actually, the pressure from other MLB owners who were telling Rob Manfred to put the pressure on Stuart Sternberg to sell the team. Does this move, and I say move, does this move by saying, hey, we're out of the new stadium deal, we're not wavering on this anymore, we're having a decision made here, does that alleviate the pressure from baseball owners that existed? I don't know that this makes that situation any better. This doesn't offer any certainty. I think baseball owners wanted Stuart Sternberg to go forward with the new stadium deal, to do what he said he was going to do, to take $600 million public dollars from the city and the county, from St. Pete and Pinellas County. That was all signed up for. Like, that was on the table. And the Rays are walking away from that. They're also walking away from controlling about 60-something acres of the gas plant district site, the place where Tropicana Field sits right now. They're walking away from controlling that by stepping out of this deal. So I don't know that when owners across the league started to reportedly pressure the Rays for selling the team, I don't know that this takes that weight off of Stuart Sternberg's shoulder. In fact, I think this puts more weight on their shoulders now to sell the team. Does the phone really start ringing now from Tampa and Orlando? I think so, right? Like, if you are in the city of Tampa council, or if you're from Orlando, if you're the Orlando's Dreamers Project, if you're Barry Larkin, like, I'm calling the Rays like crazy right now. What's the deal? What are you doing? You're going back to the Trop. That's not your permanent solution. That's not your long-term fix. So as of right now, no long-term solution exists. So these places want to be a long-term solution. These places want to be that solidity and security that a fan base would love. These are in other places, though. And I do think that maybe even the Rays have considered Tampa. They've reconsidered Tampa as they really went forward on St. Pete, and they really realized that crossing that bridge is not the fan base's favorite thing, and the location was never great to begin with. Like, they kind of made the consolation. All right, we're going to do a new stadium. We're going to do it at the site that everybody's okay with, but they don't love. Well, instead, maybe the idea this whole time, maybe the cold feet aspect, not only came from money and commitment and the rising cost of things, we'll get to that in a second, maybe some of it came from the idea of, hey, Tampa might be better for us anyway. Or how about Orlando? They're out there. We want to be propositioned by Orlando. I think those two groups reach out extensively right now. So this new stadium deal, right, it's off. The Rays have called it off. They're backing out. What if the team was sold within a week on March 20th? And there's still 11 days left until March 31st in the deadline. And the ownership groups, reportedly the multiple ownership groups out there from Tampa that would be interested in buying the Rays, they said, no, we want to do that deal. We want to keep the St. Pete Stadium deal alive. Is it off for good? If a new owner came in by March 31st and said, can we have this back? Is it like, and that's a question mark there. Is it off for everybody, or is it just off for Stuart Sternberg? Or does this mean now that, like, if he's made this move, right, he is committed to not doing the stadium. He's not committed to doing the stadium. Does this mean that a sale is entirely off the table in the near future? Remains to be seen, but certainly something to think about. And as I mentioned before, now because the Rays back out of this, they lose control over the 65-acre gas plant district site for development. And it was interesting how this all played out. I told you before that the city and county called the Rays bluff. They did because they didn't want to lose control of that site. If the Rays were going to bounce and do something else somewhere else, the city and county wanted to make sure that they maintained control of that site. So if the Rays backed out, that would be the only way the Rays would lose control. Otherwise, if the city or county were out, the Rays would have kept control. So that's why the city and county called the Rays bluff. They made the Rays commit. The Rays couldn't commit. And now they're out of control of this site, which honestly, in terms of real estate and development, I don't know the true value of that. I don't know what we're talking about here. I know it's a lot. I know it's in the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of value of controlling 65 acres and everything that goes on there. That is also a big deal here that's not necessarily being talked about. And if it really did come down to $150 million, right? The Rays said that 2 months of delays on a vote costed them a full season, like 2029 would be the new opening date, and $150 million. Like, if all of that was the deciding factor? First off, $150 million over 30 years, let's say, is actually not as much money as you think, right? All things considered, from you and me, it's a lot of money. But for a big project like this, it shouldn't be a deal breaker. The other part about this is, what else did it come down to? The $150 million, or were there some other concerns? Or was there the Tampa idea, or the wanting to be courted by Orlando idea? Or was it just cold feet on commitment, the cost of construction, and the stock market right now, and the value of things? That we are about to, if we're not there already, we're kind of in some weird financial uncertain times. And that matters for all of us, but especially people who have a lot of assets and value in places that aren't liquid. So the value of what they have and what they can commit, it fluctuates largely. And so it makes you wonder, if you're looking at tariffs and inflation, and you're looking at a recession, all sorts of things that could be possible here in the next 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years. Do you really want to jump in this pool when you don't know what the current or the temperature of the water is going to be? You probably don't. So it would be understandable if the Rays got a little non-committal on this and cold feet on it. Unfortunately, they brought it this far, and now they're backing out. I'm also wondering if other teams in various points of limbo are watching how this unfolds for the Rays and studying it as precedent. I almost said Oakland A's, the A's, the Chicago White Sox, any other team that's got a stadium question right now. I mean, are they looking at this and saying, well, we need to study this because we might be in these same shoes sooner than later. We might be forced to make a decision. We might have the pressure on us to move the team, sell the team, just get things done. What's the pressure going to be on us because of what's happening here in Tampa? Yeah, the Rays, they were behind the A's, and then it seems like they were ahead of the A's. Now, honestly, I don't know. Now they're back to kind of square one. Logistically, they're way behind the A's, but again, until the A's move forward and put a shovel in the ground, that's still not a done deal. And just like a lot of people said back in May of 2024, less than a year ago, oh, the Rays are done. Remember, here to stay. Their slogan, it's a done deal. The county and the city will approve it. The Rays are in on this. Done deal. They're staying in Tampa. Yay for St. Pete. And I said, well, you got to wait until the shovels are in the ground. This is why you have to wait until the shovels are in the ground. It did largely look that way. I said here on the channel, though, believe it when you see it, and I hoped to believe it and see it. It just didn't happen. And so now here we are back at square one. That needs to be fixed. That over there on the other side of the screen just ain't happening. So that rendering, we can put in our collection of renderings. Somebody's got to make a museum, by the way, in North America and the United States, of all the renderings of stadiums that never happened. I mean, the A's have contributed a lot to those. The Rays have contributed a lot to those. Some other teams have contributed a lot of renderings of stadiums that never happened. Maybe, instead of a museum, that's just a video that I should do. Maybe I should start working on that. But again, unfortunate, disappointing, yet not surprising. I wished some sort of stability for the Rays fan base, and it's obviously not going to come now. We literally are back at square one for the Rays, and maybe even square zero, because is Tropicana Field going to be fixed by next year? Do we even know that for certain right here, right now? Until that's a done deal, this thing actually got more messy than it did more straightforward. That's the end of this video. Appreciate you for being here. Let me try something real quick. Oh, look at that. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up down below. Also, don't forget to, subscribe to the, subscribe to the channel. That way I can definitely see you back here next time.